Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 46 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone. I'm Dustin Kane, and with me, as always, Chris Gramlich. What's up, Chris?
Not much. I'm excited about this one. This is going to be your bread and butter here.
Yeah, we'll pencil in every once in a while some stories just about things that we've done in the past, and today is going to be one of those. Just because it's a really interesting case study in ways to find new products on Amazon. So I'll walk through the whole story. I'll try not to talk the entire time. I'll let you jump in a little. But it's a dreary, rainy day here in Kansas City. So it's a good day for storytelling, I feel like.
Story time. Turn the fireplace on. Go get your coffee.
Yeah, it is story time. But yes, let's dive into the story, because I know, one of the things that people always talk about is how do you find new products? And we've had podcasts on this where we've outlaid our criteria, for what constitutes a good new product for us. But there's other ways to find this, and this I stumbled upon this myself. I didn't invent this. It just kind of fell into my lap. But there's lots of products out there that people are using not in the way that it's intended to be used. And nobody's branding it that way, or nobody's focusing on those different search terms. So this is how I found that. This was really early on. This happened with the first product that I launched, which was one of my best-selling products ever. But so I'll just dive in and tell you how this happened to me. So my first product that I launched was resistance bands for working out. They were the resistance bands that they're in a loop, so you can wrap them around your legs and just do some sort of at-home workouts with these resistance bands. It was really Insanity and a bunch of different Beachbody workouts were using these, so they were super popular when I launched. So anyway, I launched that. That became one of my best sellers. We're selling them like crazy. That's great. Probably a year and a half into that, I got an email through Amazon from some teacher in California who asked me if I was willing to donate these workout bands for a classroom. And so I immediately wrote back. I was like, yes, I'd be happy to, but what are you doing? Are you running a fitness class? And she said, no, they put them around the chairs. So they wrap them around the legs of their chairs, so kids can move. They can bounce their feet off of these in their chair to expand energy. And I said, well, that's fascinating. I said, is that something that you came up with? She's like, no, teachers everywhere are doing this. She's like, I found this on Pinterest or some blog or something like that she said, where she said people were doing this. So I thought, well, okay, that's interesting. So I sent them out to her. She sent me some pictures of the kids using them in class. And I said, then I researched that. Actually, I went to Amazon and I looked it up, and I was like, I wonder, well, let me see if if product exists for this need. And it didn't. So I typed in chair bands, school chair bands, anything like that. Couldn't find it. Didn't see anything. And I said, well, let me go into, I went into either Jungle Scout or Helium 10, and I wanted to see what the search volume was. And people were searching that. They were searching those words, chair bands for school kids, and there was no products there for them. So I immediately went to my supplier and said, hey, can you put these in a different package? I've made a different design. I made a different name, totally different brand. And it was all about chair bands for school. Launched them, did no PPC, nothing. They immediately started selling. So I was like, this is crazy. I mean, these are selling. And now if you go onto Amazon, so I launched that about probably 2 years ago. If you go search chair bands for school kids or school chair bands, there's got to be 200 different sellers selling these different kinds, and there was not one when it's crazy. So there's all kinds of opportunities out there.
And what year did you start doing the resistance bands?
2013 or 14.
And then you got an email from just a random customer on Amazon. Mm-hmm. She said, I need to order dozens of these, probably.
Yeah, she was looking for a donation. She was wondering if my company would be willing to donate to her classroom.
Yep. Gotcha.
And so that prompted me to ask her what she's doing with them. And then come to find out, I did actually research around on the internet after that. And I was looking at Pinterest, and all these teachers were talking about how they would go and buy these resistance bands that were intended for working out, and they were putting them around the legs of the chairs so that kids could bounce their feet off of them and stretch them out and basically get their energy out without disrupting the class. So they're able to sit in the chair and move around like crazy. They're moving their legs like crazy on these resistance bands, and it's not interfering with the classroom. So they were all over it, and I said, well, I rebranded it. It's a brand new SKU, totally different product. It says nothing about workout bands on them at all. It says these are for teachers, for the chairs, for their kids. And it was the only product I've ever loved where I just put it on there and they immediately started selling. It was great.
And you just have used the same supplier. So I mean, that's just proof that like when you have your product launch and you're looking at your product, we all kind of get like tunnel vision, right? Like you're focused, okay, this is only going to be resistance band for sports, and you're only focused on that. And in the background, there's a completely different niche that you could have got into. Basically, you did. Like you basically started this whole niche, I would say. And now there's people doing it.
Yeah, I didn't invent the product, but I certainly invented the use case, or I was the first to brand towards that use case. And this shows also the power of how many people are researching different products that are selling, and then they are doing it themselves, because that wasn't that long ago, a couple years ago, and there are hundreds of sellers and different brands that are all doing this. In fact, I just went and ran the numbers on it today. The first page of results for chair bands, they're all the exact same product. And the first page of results was doing $350,000 this month in revenue on Amazon. Jeez. in the US. And I was like, jeez.
And that's what schools closed pretty much, right?
Yes, exactly. That's what everybody during the middle of a pandemic when no one's in school. So it's crazy. But it got me thinking in a different way. It got me thinking, how many products are there that, how many products do I use? What do I use I'm not using it for its intended use potentially? And because if people are doing that, then people are searching that way for it. And if there's nothing there, then you could, at least for a while, you could own all of that traffic to your product and be the one that's doing it. So there's a lot. I have a feeling there's a lot of products like that can have different uses. It's like, think about all the little toys and stuff like rubber bands, the rubber band, but then you have people that like make bracelets out of them and do all these different things there's all kinds of products that you can target to a different market.
Yeah. And you found it out just by accident. Hopefully somebody, if you look at your product, look at it differently. You can always look at your search terms. So if you see somebody buying your product with a different search term, this is where like PPC comes into play. Especially if you're running an auto campaign and somebody buys your product with a completely different like keyword than you would target, you may want to dig a little bit deeper into in that area. And maybe they would have found a different, completely different niche that they can just rebrand it, keep the same product, just put a different label on it. And now you got two different SKUs in two different niches.
Yeah. Cool. The beauty of it is at that point, there was really no additional cost. I was dealing with the same supplier, already had had already negotiated the price. All I did was I sent him a different label for the a different, design for the package. And I told him make half of them with this label and the other half with my other label. And so I didn't really have to do anything. There was no dealing with suppliers or going out and trying to find new ones and getting samples or any of the other stuff you have to do. It was the easiest launch that there was. And so it was great.
And what are you finding now? Like now that the competition's out there, what are you seeing now that people are doing to your own listing?
Yeah. So again, it's competitive. So I was the first one there, and now there's tons and tons. So over the last year or so, I've started to get some negative reviews on my product, which it has to be probably coming from competitors because it wasn't getting negative reviews before. And my sales have slowed down. I mean, there's so much competition now. They're coming in, there's low prices. And just like anything, once there gets to be tons and tons and tons of sellers and it becomes, the product is, there's no one innovating. They're all the exact same. It's the same. So it's like a commodity almost. The product becomes commoditized. Now you've got people running deals and coupons and everything all the time. So somebody's always cheaper, So I'm kind of fading off that product now. I mean, I'm selling through my inventory. I'll keep it going if it's continues to stay profitable, but it's so competitive now. I'm getting attacked by other people, and I'm the one who got it started.
Gosh darn it! I started this thing.
I know. That's why it was mildly depressing to see the 350,000 in revenue when I, for a while, was the only one. But that's interesting. It motivates me to now think about other products that I'm selling and how I can maybe rebrand those. I mean, it's kind of cool to have one. It's the exact same product and you're going after two completely different niches. I mean, working at home workout equipment is about as far away from, educational supplies as you can get. And it's the same product going to both. So that it's just a great, that's why I encourage everybody. There's opportunities all over the place. And, I would have never known. That was one of the best emails I've ever gotten from a customer, that looking for, and then they're asking for a donation, but it turned out to be the best donation I've ever made too, because it launched a new product. But yeah, you should read all of your reviews. I mean, if somebody says, hey, this is great, I use this product for this, you might learn something, and then just go investigate, find out if there's, anybody selling it or branding that particular product like that, and then look up the keyword search volume, and you could be on to something.
If you had to do it all over again, what would you do?
That scenario?
Yeah.
I mean, I did everything. I feel like, I came in, I trademarked it. One thing that I probably didn't pay enough attention to was as the competitors were coming on, to just kind of continue to stay ahead of them. Like I didn't change my listing very much. I never really changed my pictures. And people were coming on, and then they were able to just kind of go. And then what ended up happening is a lot of them, I think we suspect a lot of times you have the manufacturers themselves are putting that on there. Of course, they can offer it at a low price, and then they can do some weird tactics. I had one competitor that went from 0 to like 400 reviews in about, 2 weeks. So something fishy was going on there. But I don't know. That's a really good question about what I would do different. That product was a great ride for about a year and a half, 2 years for sure. But yes, I trademarked it. I did everything right off the bat. But if there was a way to have patented it or something for that use, that might have been a good way to do. But I don't think that was possible in this case. But yeah, great question. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the nature, right? It's the nature of Amazon. What was fascinating to me was, you always wonder. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to start selling on Amazon, and this product happened to be lower cost, so it even gets more competitive. It's an ease. There's less barriers to entry because it's so easy to get from a supplier. But what was amazing to me was how quickly I got copied. I mean, it's like all these people that are using these tools like Jungle Scout and Helium 10 to find products that are selling, with, where there's not a lot of competitors. I was a product that was selling that had 0 competitors. And that didn't last very long.
Yeah. And this goes to product research. Like a lot of us are looking for really high volume search terms. I don't think chair bands is that high. Like it's not like ridiculous, but it's probably more than 1,000. And there wasn't a lot of competition at the time. So you can find products to sell that have, decent search volume that no one's at. A lot of people I think are just focusing on like the tens of thousands of search volume where there's not a lot of competition. And this just goes to prove that, you can find products in less volume of searches that you can still kind of dominate and be first to market with.
Another point I want to make on this, I didn't bring up yet, was when you rebrand the exact same product to a different niche, you can sell it for more. So the price equivalency between my workout bands and the bands I was selling to schools, I was selling it was a premium for the ones going to schools, even though it was the same product. I was putting more in the package, but per band price was significantly higher. But since it was marketed and directed towards that niche, they were buying those. And so I was selling for a while until the competition came in. But for a while, I was selling them for a premium over that. So that's another thing that you can do because, and it looks like you've created a product for this specific need, and they'll go after it. So it was really, really interesting. Also, that another thing that came up with that was a lot of my sales were business customers because they were schools ordering them, and they were ordering them in bulk. So I had a lot of orders that were like 20 packs, 30 packs at a time, which I never really got very much with the resistance bands. So it's interesting. There's just doing that, thinking outside the box, or in my case, not thinking at all, having someone send you an email, which was nice. That got me thinking outside the box. But yeah, that's something that I do now with every product I get. I just try to brainstorm and look if there's other uses for it that aren't being promoted. It's cool. It's a cool way to launch a new product for sure.
Yeah. So I think what the lessons learned is pay attention to the niches, see if your product can go into other niches, see if you can rebrand it, because there might be other use case where your existing product, you could just sell it in a different niche with a new brand. Also, pay attention to your PPC. Your PPC is going to show you search terms that customers are typing into Amazon. And if maybe you could get a hold of that faster, you could have pivoted a little bit sooner or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But pay attention to your PPC because that's going to show you what customers are searching for in that keyword search. And then the last one is check your email, right? Like get your email.
Yes. Check that email. Find out what your customers are saying and using your product for. You'd be shocked and surprised at the different use cases you have. Each product has. So, yeah, cool. It's a cool story, and it's just another way to be thinking about products that you sell. So, anyway, well, I hope that was helpful. Yeah, hope that was helpful. We'll be sharing stories like this more often too. I'm also in the process right now of trying to, and Chris and I were talking about this. I'm launching another low-priced product that I'm seeing if I can launch it without doing hardly any like giveaways or any asking for reviews or any of that. And so far, I'm getting sales. So we'll talk about that. If that continues, it's actually worthy of a story. We'll talk about that as well. But yeah. Anyway, that's story time for today. So hopefully that helps everybody think about things a little differently. If you are selling and you're advertising right now, and you're looking to maybe automate that or have a tool do it for you, Chris and I would love to talk with you about Celozo and how we help Amazon sellers automate and optimize their ads. You can go to celozo.com. You can book a time with either Chris or myself. We will walk through a demo. We'll talk anything Amazon. We'll show you the Celozo tool. If you've got a story you want to tell us, we'll tell story. We'll trade stories. we do it every day. So anyway, please go to Solozo.com and book a time with us. Also, if you want to watch these podcasts live stream, you can watch us on Facebook, on the Solozo page on Facebook, on the Solozo page on LinkedIn, on our YouTube channel for Solozo that we have. So please go and subscribe or like those pages so you can get notifications. And please like and subscribe to our podcast. All right, everybody. That's it for today. We'll be back at it on Monday. And I think we might have a guest on Monday. I'm not sure yet, Chris.
We'll see. We'll see. Suspense.
All right. Everybody have a great day.